给了我活下去的勇气，他们延续了我的生命。
红日升在东方，西大道满霞光。我何其心生于你怀，诚一脉血流淌。
Education is the movement from darkness to light. That's why I traveled about 3,000 kilometers to be here in the senior high school for girls in the mountainous area of southwest China's Yunnan province, to learn how education is changing the lives of women spanning 3 very different generations here, and how these women are in turn changing the face of education and their own community. The Huaping High School for girls in Huaping County of Yunnan province is the first tuition-free high school for girls in China. Girls from impoverished families who are unable to continue their studies after completing their 9-year compulsory education can now have access to a high school education. And this is the woman who made it happen. She is known all over China. This is an example of a typical evening with her students. Music can be a magic key to open people's hearts. It certainly is for Zhang Guimei and her students. Now, 我就在想，你说这个每个学生这个学费减这么多，虽然咱是财政拨款哈，
没有啊。
No, no. The teachers' housing was built by the government, by all 3 levels of government. None of that money was in the budget. Whoever came by, I asked. Whoever I asked if they could, they helped. As for the funds I asked from the government, the provincial government gave more, probably because they get better access to funding. That small building over there used to be the toilets at the school where I taught before. We had no money to buy land. So we repurposed that plot and turned the old toilets into a small building. That idea wasn't mine. They insisted, build right here. Principal of the neighboring school objected. Where are the kids supposed to go to the bathroom? We finally put up new toilets, and they got torn down again. So they built more toilets in another place. Later, the county government talked it through with him. It's okay. She claims it to be a free high school. It won't work. The city government gave me 1 million yuan. The county government matched it with another million, 2 million total. I remember once in Beijing, before the school was even founded, we were discussing education funding. A journalist asked me, "Have you thought about how much a high school will cost to run and how much would be spent on each student?" I said, "No idea." She asked, "Then how will you do it?" I said, "We'll figure it out day by day, one day at a time. There's always a way. If you think too much, you'll never dare to start." School opened in 2008. The 17th CPC National Congress was in 2007. We benefited from the 17th Congress and from you reporters, too. They don't understand, and we don't tell them either. It would only stress them out. We let them think they're just lucky. They'll only understand once they go to college and look back at where they came from.
我就看你那个楼上写的第一个词儿，就是刚强。我当时我就让他们会背。对，我当时我就感觉到，我说张老师其实之所以把这个词儿写在这儿，是因为他自己对自己就是这么要求的。那个咬咬牙呗。
You grit your teeth and hold on. If I don't stand firm for these girls, who will? If you lean on others, you are just becoming someone who burdens others.
你不是给人添乱啊？
后边眨不上眼睛，你个小。
With her personal charm, Zhang has a strong connection with her students. Her passion is infectious. She encourages her students to sing and dance, and she wants me to join. I hope that they don't laugh at my clumsiness. After all, I'm new in the class. The school opened in 2008. It was poor and dilapidated, with little funding. 还有好多人问我说张老师这劲头从哪儿来？
就是孩子这帮姑娘。
These girls, I always say, I teach them so they can study their way out of the mountains. But in return, they've given me the courage and the chance to keep living.
把他们引出了大山，但是他给了我活下去的勇气和这个机会。
They extend my life. Sometimes I think, let me stay alive to see this class through. Then I want to see the next class to see how they're doing. I live on until I see them graduate and move on with their lives. In this way, by living for them, I've lived out my own life.
就活着活着活着就把生命活下来。
他们都可爱你了。他们昨天跟我说呢，说那个见着张老师都不好意思，说不好意思说，张老师我爱你，但是他们心里都这么想。
他们不会说等到要高考。
They never say it outright. Only on the night before college entrance exams, when you're not paying attention, it suddenly slips out. I just say, enough of that mushy stuff. Shut up. Then they laugh. Or sometimes they cry and throw their arms around me, all sobbing together. Sometimes I get mad at them, angry that they lack motivation. Sometimes I really scold them hard. Some people find it strange that I argue and yell at them, but the girls don't get upset. If I don't scold them, they feel uneasy. If one morning I say nothing, they start asking where I am. They worry I'm in the hospital. Once, I was actually hospitalized for 15 days, and it was kept secret. I told the administrators, don't tell the students, don't tell the teachers, just say I'm at a meeting. No one outside should know. I stayed alone in a hospital room. No one was allowed to visit me except the assigned nurses and doctors. If anyone found out, the students wouldn't be able to study. Once they knew, they'd be too distraught to study. They would cry their eyes out.
就是你这个劲儿，在他们身上，我都看见一个个小小张桂梅。
There's a class next door. It's this year's senior class. There's a tall girl in that class. Since last year, or maybe even the year before, she's been saying, I'm going to be Zhang Guimei. I am Zhang Guimei. Now everyone calls her Little Zhang Guimei. She said, I'm going to get into Beijing Normal University. When the team from the National Museum came to borrow some of our loudspeakers for display, she told them the same thing. I'll get into Beijing Normal University. It just so happened that those people were alumni from Beijing Normal University. They said, if you make it, send us a message. We'll meet you at the airport.
那你跟这些老师怎么沟通啊？
实质上，我跟老师也是这么说，我说你们也像我的孩子一样，但不是我的孩子。
I often tell the teachers, you're like my children, but not my children. We're colleagues, yes, but also comrades in arms, standing in the same trench. What is this trench? This trench isn't just about teaching, it's about saving lives. If you don't have that sense of mission, then you'd better jump out of the trench. We're not ordinary teachers. Ordinary ones can just teach and leave. But the children we face wouldn't understand a thing if that's all we did. But from the very first group of teachers, including me, only 4 are still here. Yes, 17 teachers left. They couldn't hold on. It's better now, but teaching is still tough. No matter how many times you explain, some of them just can't get it. There was once a girl who couldn't understand a math problem even after hearing it 8 times. 2 teachers took turns explaining, 4 times each, and still nothing. She came to me crying. I asked, "What should we do? Maybe get another teacher." She said, "No, I'd feel embarrassed." I said, "Well, I can't solve it either. Back in my college entrance exam, I only scored 9 points in math."
我跟您有一拼。你怎么跟他们的家长沟通？我不沟通啊。
I don't talk to them. Talking to them is useless, completely useless. These parents aren't like parents in cities who want their kids to get into university. They think it's best if the girl comes back and quits school. She's grown up, pretty, and when she walks through the village, plenty of boys chase after her. Since many can't get out of the mountains, why not marry early and take a bride price? It's convenient. I refuse to accept that, so I won't go along with it.
这么多孩子都毕业了哈，我看你那上写的是什么？百花齐放啊，百花齐放，百家争鸣，百家争鸣啊，
百花齐放，我要他们各自。
Yes, let 100 flowers bloom, to blossom in their own positions, along their own chosen paths.
给了我活下去的勇气，他们延续了我的生命。
To date, more than 2,000 girl graduates have gone on to study at university after taking the college entrance exam known as Gaokao. All thanks to Zhang and the education they received at the school.
Math class, very confusing for me. You see, they were all standing over there because they are afraid they're gonna get sleepy, so they stand up to remain calm.
I popped into one English class just to feel the pulse. This is one of the 3 classes heading toward the college entrance examination. Many of the girls here, they aspire to be enrolled in science major. And they need to learn English.
Sights on, set one's sights on.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Would like to share your dream or your career?
Volunteer, just raise your hand. 来，这位同学举手了。
是吗？
你举手吗？你有举手吗
Okay, you first.
Okay.
My dream is want to be a teacher because I think want to be a teacher is very meaningful.
Why?
Because I can help students learning their knowledges.
Chris, aren't you proud of your students?
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
What's your name?
毛小兰。
小兰。Great job.
跟黄大侠。
I met 3 girls who are just a few months away from taking the university entrance exam. Just like everyone else I met, they had real stories to tell me about their lives, about their ambitions and their dreams. They say it is thanks to the school that they have the confidence to go out and fulfill those dreams.
My dream is to be a doctor.
Wow.
Because I think a doctor is very great.
Why?
It can help patients to keep healthy. And my mother often be sick.
Sick?
Yes. So I want to be a doctor. It cannot help my mother, but also can help other patients.
Last year, Principal Zhang came to visit my home. She told my father not to worry about my schooling. Money is not a problem. She will pay for my tuition fee for 3 years.
I've already planned my graduation trip. I want to take the Shanghai Kunming Railway from here all the way to Shanghai, then switch to the Beijing-Shanghai line to go to Beijing, and travel up to Harbin, then cross the border. What teacher Zhang teaches us is to step out of the mountains to go and see the outside world. That's why I love geography. It helps me understand the world beyond.
那我们就得先认识外面的世界，所以这就是我学地理的原因了。我觉得很有趣。
After speaking with these girls, one can tell their lives are much different than earlier generations, all thanks to education. They have the confidence and guts to pursue their dreams and also the support to help make their dreams come true. The local economy in Huaping has been developing well, partly thanks to the great reputation of this school and the hard work of the local people. As a result, people now have more choices in their lives, not just about how to survive, but also how to live a better life. Zhang Guimei has dedicated 45 years of her life to helping and motivating girls in mountainous areas like this to obtain a higher education. One could say she has become a role model for women power and an inspiration for young girls everywhere. But what about the generations after? Who will continue this legacy? Will others follow her footsteps and devote so much to education? I found that part of the answer from Zhou Yunli, the teacher of the 3 girls who we talked to earlier. In fact, she was among the very first batch of students to graduate from this girls' school, and now she works here as a teacher.
从我15年来教的，就是前面的那1、2届。
From what I've seen, the first few years I taught after 2015 were still fine. The students could focus and had good perseverance. But with each new batch, attention spans have become shorter. Now, when you explain something, they process it differently. Sometimes I feel they just can't stay focused. I wonder if short videos and smartphones are part of the reason. It's definitely affecting them. I'm sure it is. Ms. Zhang is aware of it. She can see how children have changed just from observing them. Through her management work, she notices it too. She often tells us, kids today are different from those before. In the past, you could scold a student harshly, and even if you yelled, she could still understand that you meant well. Now, though, they can't accept it, they immediately think you look down on them. So how you treat them really matters. We have to adjust our methods and tone. Nowadays, we try not to use harsh words. We have to be careful about how we speak to them.
是的，你知道吗？那种是吧？就注意说话的方式方法。
当年你看张老师和现在你看张老师肯定很不一样。
对，当时的话就觉得。
Back then, I only thought she was very strict. As a student, I didn't really understand how hard things were for her. I couldn't see it, and I didn't know what she went through to build the school from nothing. We only heard her talk about it, but as children, we couldn't truly grasp how much responsibility she carried. We were simple-minded and often wondered why she would criticize us, or say we didn't appreciate the opportunity to study. Of course, we knew deep down that she meant well, but we didn't fully comprehend the sacrifices she made for us, for the school, for our future, for giving us a path to walk on. That understanding only came later. After I became a teacher myself, I realized how many difficult things she had done and how she somehow succeeded in all of them. I also came to appreciate her persistence. We only saw her spending time with us, never her illness or pain, because she never showed it. Even when she wasn't feeling well, she always appeared full of energy in front of us. She never looked weak or sick. But after becoming a teacher, I have seen her when she was unwell, and I truly felt heartbroken. Even so, we still hold deep admiration and respect for her. She managed to achieve something that most people would have thought impossible. Well, we genuinely look up to her for that.
他能做成这样一件真的几乎认为不可能的事情嘛，就是我们还是非常佩服他的，就是政府。
The government now provides strong support in all aspects. If a child can't afford school, she can be registered as a household in poverty, and there will be targeted financial assistance. But in some families where education isn't valued, children still end up not going to school. Even if the government provides subsidies and tuition waivers, other forms of support are often missing. Here, at our school, it's different. If a student gets into college but her family can't afford it, the principal still helps her. For example, covering university tuition. As long as the student promises to study seriously and truly wants to continue, Teacher Zhang will help. Other schools might not do that. Once you graduate from high school, the government might offer some basic assistance, but after that, you're on your own. You have to take out loans, like we did back then. I think it's because I have a deep emotional bond with this school. For us, the first graduating class, the school truly felt like another home. And Ms. Zhang, though we called her Teacher Zhang, felt like a mother to us. We even called her Mama Zhang. I still remember the day I came back after college to teach here. The moment I opened the door, that sense of familiarity and warmth washed over me. It really felt like coming home. So I've always loved this school deeply. I tell my students the same thing. I say, I love my work, and I love this school. You should also learn to love it. Since you're here enjoying what the school provides, you should learn to love the school and love your class. But it's just that sometimes they get tired and complain about how hard studying is. I tell them, it's the same everywhere. Every school is like this. Under today's education system, the pressure is everywhere. It's not just our school. Because I have classmates who teach elsewhere, it's the same situation for them too. My husband and my mother-in-law. In fact, for most of the teachers here at the girls' high school, their husbands or wives are very understanding about this kind of work. If I could truly take a few days off, I'd take my kids out to play and spend more time with them. I don't get to be with them enough. Wherever they want to go, I'd take them, maybe the zoo or just somewhere fun. My son gets so excited whenever he hears we're going out. He really loves having me around. Every day he asks if I have evening classes, and if I tell him I don't, he cheers, yeah, that's great. Because on nights without evening study sessions, I can finally spend time with him. On Saturdays, he often comes to the school and plays around here. Most weekends, it's their father who spends time with them. I really do feel guilty about that. My younger child only says, I have a good dad. One day she said, I have a good dad, and didn't mention me at all. She doesn't sleep next to me, either. Sometimes it makes me feel sad, but I understand. I tell myself, it's because I'm rarely home. You spend more time with her, so she's closer to you. There's no way around it. I just try to make the most of whatever time I do have to be there for her. Chen Qi, thank you for everything you've done for our family. You've truly done an amazing job, and I'm grateful for the support you give me in my work.
To get to know the real lives of Zhang Guimei, her colleagues, and the girl students I met here, I stayed in this small town in southwestern China for a few days, strolling along the main streets and trying to find out the real lives of the people, not only in the small alleys, but also on the mountaintops. Life is relatively quiet here. However, it takes tremendous effort to create one, just like everywhere in the world for every one of us. It is a blessing for me to cross paths with Zhang Guimei, her colleagues, and the girl students here, three very different generations of women, and take you with me to get warmed by the burning lights in their hearts. Thank you for being with me on this very special edition of She on World Insight. I'm Tian Wei. Bye for now.
给了我活下去的勇气，他们延续了我的生命。